It's Adam, and we are here at the end of another fabulous day on HSN, all focused on you, your health and wellness. Today, Andrew bringing us great today's specials, a little bit of everything. The best cleansing bar you've ever bought, which is not real soap, but even better. The most amazing secure meal replacement bars, Cholesterol, turmeric, and our first today's special, which is, of course, Glucosamine and Chondroitin. We were talking about pushing back against the hands of time. Mr. Andrew Lessman, who, talking of which, Andrew, the hands of time, 46 years ago, you brought this into the market.
It's strange to think that for 46 years I've been doing this. More excited about doing it today than when I started my company. And when I started my company, I was very excited about doing this. Certainly, it's hard to believe it's 46 years. It was 35 years ago, for those of you who might have been watching, and I know so many of you were, that I first appeared on QVC. I think it was January 1st. Of 1990. So that's over 35 years ago. So I've been doing this a long time, and I'm not just a spokesman. As I'm often reminded, I'm not just a pretty face, but I'm the guy who started the company. And how often do you get to see a product and see the founder of that company, the person who actually created a company that's unlike any other company in this space? We actually make all of our own products, including the secure meal replacement bars we'll talk about later. We do everything with no carbon footprint. A lot of folks talk about carbon offsets and things like that. We have no carbon footprint because our facility is surrounded by and covered in solar panels. So it's a unique approach. It's consistent with our approach with our vitamins that we make. There are no additives in our products. Why should we burden the planet with our other activities? So, and our glucosamine product, it's really a perfect product to be a representation of what we do, because this ingredient, glucosamine and chondroitin, these became popular in the 1990s and in the early 2000s, where they call it the aughts, in the 90s and the aughts. I introduced my first glucosamine with chondroitin product in 1979. It was one of the first products at my company, so it's something that I doubt there's anyone else currently in the nutritional supplement space at this time, 46 years later, that has more experience with this ingredient than we do. And what I'll try to do now is I'll try to cover some of the science, since most folks out there watching television will buy a product that's convenient, or discount store, local store, online. You won't find a product that's the equivalent of my products, but at least I'll provide you information. So if you don't get my product, you can make a better decision. First and foremost, do not use glucosamine hydrochloride. Use glucosamine sulfate. I mean, it's just that simple. Unfortunately, because glucosamine hydrochloride is so much less expensive, it's the standard ingredient used in products. And those manufacturers figure nobody looks at the fine print on the back of the label. Nobody's going to know the difference. If you watch my shows, you'll know the difference. You need to get glucosamine sulfate. You'll see in the science why. And also, our chondroitin sulfate doesn't burden you with additional sodium. It's a calcium chondroitin sulfate. So again, it delivers an essential mineral that we need rather than sodium and electrolyte that we do not need. But if we look at some charts quickly, and then Adam, I'll let you go through the pricing. Yeah. Best pricing, continues to be best pricing ever on this product. We've done that for the last several years. But just to give you an idea, there's more than 22,500 papers published on glucosamine, more than 20,000 published on chondroitin. More than 1,500 papers have been published on both used together. And then clinical trials, which are really more of the gold standard of analyses, 3,500 clinical trials. Wow. There are amazing drugs that have been brought to market that have been very well researched that have a single-digit percentage of that amount of research. So it really is a phenomenal amount of research and attention. If we look from Current Concepts, which is a research publication, glucosamine sulfate is one of the most studied dietary supplements available today. In the last 30 years, and I've been offering it for 46 years. In the last 30 years, many trials have been conducted and published on the effects of glucosamine on the signs and symptoms of normal age-related changes in joint comfort and function. The hydrochloride salt of glucosamine is a common glucosamine product. It's what you see mostly in America, yet it has received relatively little attention from researchers because the research has shown it to be less effective or not effective. From the American Academy of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation, the authors of yet another review concluded that enough data exists in the literature to prove, not to demonstrate or confirm or suggest, to prove that both glucosamine and chondroitin have a significant effect on at least discomfort and function, and may have an effect on delaying cartilage degradation on the basis of radiographs. That's on the basis of x-rays. So I'll read some more research in a moment, but Adam, I'll let you go over the various options that we have, including the undenatured type 2 collagen, which the value today makes it hard to say no to the addition of the undenatured type 2 collagen. That's UC2.
And I do want to stress, folks, this is the end of the road for another year. Andrew and I launched this at midnight. These are our final hours before a new day begins. If you want the best pricing of the year, this is the moment to pounce. And here's what it looks like. There's 100 capsules, 3, 6, or 900. We love the 900 capsule. It's an only opportunity today. Andrew only does it for the Today Special. We also have it available in the bulk powder version, which people love. They mix it in with their yogurt, smoothies, or oatmeal. But that's where the pricing goes, that first column right there. You see the pricing today is amazing, right, Andrew?
By the way, I just want to add, and I'll let you continue, that 180 bulk powder, it might not be clear. That is the equivalent of 900 capsules.
Right.
So when you see the capsules at $119.90, so you get to save another $30 simply by getting it in powder. If you make yourself a smoothie, if you put it in yogurt, some pureed fruit, then all of a sudden, 900 capsule equivalents in the powder is less than a dime a capsule for glucosamine and chondroitin, and which is among the most expensive ingredients you're going to find in stores. They're behind lock and key in most stores nowadays. And then if you want to add the UC2, undenatured type 2 collagen, glucosamine and chondroitin, they're like the bricks and mortar of your joints. UC2 affects the way our body manages our joint tissue, the regeneration of it, the repair of it, the creation of it. And so what you could see here, on whether it's the 900 capsules or the 180 bulk powder, it's going to be $40 more or $50 more. On the 600 capsules, again, it ends up being $40 more. So it's an incredible value to be able to enjoy the benefits of UC2, and that is a 180-day supply if you take 5 capsules per day. Many people take 2 or 3 capsules a day because of the potency, and then it effectively becomes more than a 1-year supply. And again, in the powder form, at less than a dime a capsule. In capsules, a little more than a dime a capsule.
So the value is there. I mean, it's compelling and it's strong and it's for today. Andrew is able to do this with HSN, the economies of scale. So many people come back year after year after year to stock up on this day. Then again, there's many of you that have never seen this before, and it's important you know about it. Andrew's already explained this isn't the mass market form. This is the more effective form, the one that you would want to have. And the reality is, Andrew, for so many of us that struggle every single day and we crave that time when we were a little bit younger, that youthful elasticity, flexibility, there really is hope in the form of this.
Well, we all would like to age as gracefully as possible. Certainly, that's my goal. We all want to preserve our mobility, all of our youthful attributes, whether it's how our brain works. And for me, again, I try to exercise every single day. That's something that's incredibly important to retaining our mobility, making sure we retain our lean muscle mass, our balance, our core strength. All of these different things are critical to remaining active and healthy as we age. But if we want our joints to function as best they can, we need to provide our joints with the raw materials, the tools they need. And glucosamine and chondroitin, and again, these are not ingredients that you need to take my word for it. We could look at another chart right here to my right that the American Academy of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation, the authors of yet another review concluded that enough data exists, I read this one, that prove that both glucosamine and chondroitin have a significant effect on at least discomfort and function, which is all we want. Right. We want to have that positive impact on function and discomfort. From orthopedic nursing, the study of 45 patients found that glucosamine is definitely useful in decreasing discomfort and improving functional ability, definitely, and joint mobility, so as to enhance the quality of life of patients with normal age-related changes in joint comfort and function of the knee. This is not a drug or a medicine. It's just a natural tool to deal with the natural changes we'll all experience. From JAMA, the Journal of the American Medical Association, clinical trials of glucosamine sulfate and chondroitin sulfate preparations in supporting joint health have demonstrated moderate to large beneficial effects. Personally, for me, it's a large beneficial effect. It's why I can be as active as I am, being closer to 70 now than I am to 60. Both glucosamine sulfate and chondroitin sulfate have been proven to be safe, absolutely safe, and effective in supporting the health of the joints. They also support cardiovascular health as well. From the Journal of Family Practice, a combination of glucosamine and chondroitin should be considered viable first-line joint support nutrients. That's from the Journal of Family Practice, not from someone selling supplements. Be sure to tell your patients to purchase glucosamine sulfate, the only form I've ever used in making this product for 46 years, not glucosamine hydrochloride. Glucosamine hydrochloride is a cheap imitator, and that's why those other companies use it. I'll maybe read a couple more of the science. Sorry if I bore you with it, but the science, the reviews speak for themselves. They're over 90% extremely positive reviews, but the science is what really underscores why we don't want to be without this. From American Family Physician, unlike many supplements that reach the market completely untested in clinical trials, glucosamine has been the subject of considerable research. I read the chart before that talked about more than 22,000 studies on glucosamine. Glucosamine is available in multiple forms. The most common are glucosamine hydrochloride and glucosamine sulfate. The National Institute of Health found in participants with moderate to severe discomfort, glucosamine combined with chondroitin sulfate provided statistically significant relief compared with placebo. I could go on and on. Ultimately, we're all aging. We're all putting stress and strain on all the systems in our body. Our joints are perhaps the most obvious and the most apparent that we see, we feel, and we experience. And this is, we could talk about turmeric, we could talk about collagen peptides, both of which have incredibly supportive science for benefits for your joints. But as great as their science is, their science can't compare to the science on glucosamine and chondroitin. I think why a lot of companies don't focus on it anymore is it's boring. They'd rather focus on some new ingredient that doesn't have the same science. Me, I follow the science. I'm not here to try and promote the latest and most exciting ingredient. I'm here to promote the ingredient that's going to have the most significant and potentially life-changing effect on how you experience your joints and how you experience your life.
I mean, look, time keeps marching on, we know that, and it might be hard to be as agile as we once used to be, but this gives us that extra support that we need to keep moving and to keep on feeling good. And that's why what Andrew will tell you, what I will share with you as well, is that with HSN, we want you to give this a go. If you get it home and try it and you don't love it, you don't feel that difference, that impact, then you send it back for a refund of the purchase price. You're under no obligation at all to keep it. But if you were to try it, this is the best day of 2025 to do that. We've got to draw a line in the sand and say, okay, I'm listening to what's being said. I'm listening to the science, and that is so key. As Andrew was reading those charts to you, you know, the reality is there's no hype there, there's no fluff there, there's no filler there. It's all real, genuine, hardcore facts, and that is valuable. Andrew, dare I say, you are one of the few, and I say few, I don't think there's anybody else that delivers the information the way you do it, and I know it's something you are very proud of.
Well, it's my responsibility that when you look at other companies on television, on other shopping networks, and they talk about joint products, and they constantly talk about arthritis. Yes, certainly if you have arthritis, it's an issue with your joint. But if you talk about arthritis while you're talking about a dietary supplement, all of a sudden that supplement's turned into a medicine. You're now talking about a supplement that's basically being positioned to treat, cure, prevent whatever disease you're talking about, in that case, arthritis. It's whenever I mention arthritis when it pertains to my product, it's because I'm not positioning it for arthritis. What I'm positioning it for is just the normal age-related changes we all have. When it comes to arthritis, those can be issues if you need a pharmaceutical preparation that you talk to your doctor about. That's not a discussion that is really appropriate for here. And the law is crystal clear about what dietary supplements are supposed to, or how they're supposed to be discussed. But unfortunately, especially with social media nowadays, it's amazing how folks choose to neglect the law. And they use words like arthritis or cancer. They use words like that to make an unfair representation of what their product can do. So when it comes to glucosamine and chondroitin, it's an opportunity to give your joint the most critical structural molecules that can affect their structure, and then, of course, their function. UC2, and sorry for not really discussing what that does. UC2, undenatured type 2 collagen. Very, very different from the collagen present in collagen peptides. UC2 is presented in this product in a relatively small quantity. It has also been the subject of extensive research, but it doesn't play the structural role or the collagen synthesis stimulating role that typical collagen peptides play. What it does, UC2, it has what's called an immunomodulating effect. The immune system doesn't just deal with pathogens like bacteria or viruses or things like that. The immune system is also responsible for monitoring what's going on in our body, monitoring the status of tissues, whether those tissues require intervention or repair. And when we talk about our cartilage is constantly being repaired, remodeled, regenerated. It's constantly being worn. Our body is constantly replacing tissues. And when it comes to cartilage, those are tissues that are subject to extreme amounts of stress and wear and tear. So UC2 acts as a communicator. I often say when we put things in our body, we basically swallow information. And we hope that information is good messaging, good information. When it comes to UC2, it's messaging and information to your immune system to stimulate collagen synthesis, to shift that equilibrium in a direction that favors the health of our cartilage. So, and again, I didn't get to read some of the science, but some of the most compelling science on glucosamine and chondroitin, it's not folks saying, wow, my joints feel better, or wow, I notice greater function. It's radiologists looking at x-rays, looking at MRIs and going, wow, we see a visible difference in the change of, say, the intervertebral space, the space between vertebrae, or the joint space in your knee. That's, to me, when you see it in black and white on a radiograph, on an x-ray, that's when you know this ingredient, as the research says, is exerting a structure-modifying effect. And when you exert a structure-modifying effect, those effects in function, what we experience, how our joints feel, that's inevitable. That's positive, and that's inevitable.
You know, life is hard. It's so hard, and there's always a challenge. And as we get older, it gets harder and harder, and we start to feel things that we never felt before. The reality is there are wonderful things that God gave us, Mother Nature's tools, that we really should take advantage of. And Andrew's products are all based on the good stuff. None of the bad stuff, additives, fillers, binders. It's real, and it's an amazing opportunity to try it for yourself. Orders are obviously flooding through since it's the final hours of the day. This is with the UC2. Most popular sizing is going to be the 900 capsules. That's down to $169.90 from $309. Huge saving. Don't forget the powder version as well. That powder means you can add it to smoothies or oatmeal, whichever you want. There's a great value there as well. We're going to head this way. Thank you for all of your orders on our phenomenal First Today's special. Still to come, fact